Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It is Thursday evening, and by now we all know what that means. It means looking back at our Tuesday fixture in Sky Bet League One, and once that is done, we will look ahead to another massive game as we take on Andy Butler's Doncaster Rovers. Yeah, it's been another huge week. First of all, let's look back at that win over Lincoln City on Tuesday. Steve Evans said ahead of the fixture that if we wanted to keep our playoff dream alive, we would have to go up to the LNER Stadium and put in a positive performance and grab a positive result. And by God, did we do it, by 3-0. We simply dismantled Lincoln City. I know they've been in a bit of rough trot of form at the moment, but we were absolutely superb from first whistle to last. It's no exaggeration to say that it should have been 4-0 to the Gills at half-time. We scored 2 good goals. We then had numerous chances. One goal line clearance prevented John Akindi from tapping in. And then Jordan Graham had a shot saved on the line by the keeper. Ryan Jackson shot charged down. Alex McDonald blazed one over. We was comfortable defensively, restricting the home side to mainly shots from distance. Morgan Rogers was their big threat, and Regan Paul the overlapping right back. But on the whole, we were really, really good. Certainly deserved to be in front at the interval. And like I say, it should have been 3 or 4-0. Second half, we dropped off, went into our shell a little bit, played on the break, invited them on. But I thought after initially weathering a storm at the start of the second half, we were relatively comfortable again. There was Verdane Oliver's backheel clearance, wasn't there, that went out for a corner from a short, quick free kick right at the start of the second period. But again, it was shots from distance. I can only recall Jack Bonham making one proper save in that second half, and it was a really good fingertip stop to stop Tao Eden's 30-yard drive going into the top corner. And with 5 minutes to go, we went up the other end and got ourselves a penalty. I know Colin Murray and Ian Holloway were talking about it on the Quest highlights on Wednesday evening, said it was a dive. It's not a dive. It's pushing the back. It's a stonewall penalty. If you're going to talk about diving, you only have to look at the lad Brennan Johnson, unfortunately, for Lincoln City, who was rightly booked in the second period. But enough about him. There was a couple of comments after the game from Liam Bridcut and Michael Appleton, their skipper and manager, respectively. And Liam Bridcut come out and said he didn't like losing to Steve Evans and he didn't like losing to teams like that, referring to us. A little bit disrespectful for me. It's not our problem, Liam, if you can't work out how to play against us and counter our strengths. And you got what you deserved, and that was absolutely nothing. Michael Appleton, similarly disrespectful and a little bit pathetic and childish. Seems that we've rattled him from the game up there last season when him and Steve Evans had a little bit of handbags after the final whistle. It seems that Appleton hasn't let it go. Referred to us as that lot, said he won't encounter teams like us again. And tended to just pretend that the penalty didn't exist because he didn't feel it was a foul, and that the result didn't really count because their next 3 fixtures were against sides that will play the right way. Now, you can't play the right way. You play way to suit your strengths, and that's what we do. And again, Michael Appleton, it just looks like sour grapes. You go on about losing count of the amount of times you got into our box and had shots. Well, I had a look at the stats. You got into our box and had 9 shots from inside the 18-yard area. We got into yours and had 8. It's not our fault you couldn't hit a cow's arse with a cricket bat Tuesday evening, is it? And perhaps just try and get your own house in order before you start worrying about ours. But just a little bit of a sideshow. Doesn't detract from what was an excellent performance from Steve Evans' side. Like I say, we were absolutely brilliant start to finish. Another goal for Verdane Oliver, another goal for the captain, another goal for Jordan Graham. Our big players turned up. Defensively were absolutely brilliant, and it was a well-earned 3 points. Gets us within 2 points of 6th. Right, that's enough about Lincoln. We now move on to Saturday, and it's another huge game as we take on this team. Doncaster Rovers, now under the guidance of Andy Butler after Darren Moore, their previous manager, departed for Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship a few weeks ago. They're not in any type of form, are they? Andy Butler's been in charge for 5 games, and after initially seeming to get over Moore's departure with back-to-back wins, they've failed to win the next 3 and they've not scored a goal. But before I look at them in more detail, I'm going to leave you with Doncaster fan Dan Pearson. He is on YouTube and he runs his own fan channel, which is really worth a watch. So go and drop him a subscribe if you can. And you can find him on Twitter at 18Dapper. That's 18Dapper. But I will leave you now with Dan's thoughts on all things Donny.
Hi guys, 18Dapper here, and a big thank you to Gills in the Blood TV for allowing me onto the channel. I really appreciate the invite onto this video. You asked me a couple of questions and asked for my opinions on them. An overview of Donny, the season so far, my thoughts on the key players for us, and a score prediction for Saturday's game against Gillingham. So starting with an overview of Donny, I'd expect to see us playing a 4-2-3-1. That's kind of been the system that we've worked throughout the season. It's been positive at points and negative at others. We've been fairly strong defensively until the past 10 games or so. Very difficult to break down, and we try to play through the thirds fairly quickly, working from defence through midfield into attack. Something's not quite been clicking over the last month or so, and hopefully we can see that turn around, because I feel that our grip on a playoff spot is slowly slipping, and this is the first weekend in a long time where we can drop out of the top 6 if we end up falling to defeat against Gillingham and results in and around us go against us as well. But an overview of the club, I love them, absolutely love them. Can't say a bad word about the Rovers on and off the field. For me, the work that the backroom staff do in the community and also on a match day, the experience that they give not just home fans but away fans as well. Had a lot of positive feedback from other YouTubers who have come and enjoyed the experience in the away stand, and that for me is probably a bigger part of the club than the actual 90 minutes on the pitch. I think to have a family orientated club that focuses on fan engagement and a match day experience adds a lot more value than the 90 minutes on the pitch for me. So that's why I enjoy going to watch the Rovers. That's why I've been a fan for as long as I have. But yeah, on the pitch, we've got a very young squad this season. A lot of players who play with confidence, and as I mentioned, the last 10 games, the confidence hasn't been there. It's not quite clicked. We've only accrued 8 points from a possible 30. So comparatively with Gillingham, we're kind of on the downward turn, whereas Gillingham are starting to pick up. So it's going to be a very tough game on Saturday. Season so far, though, the first half of the season for the Rovers was fantastic. It did put us in a really strong position in the top 6 when we had games in hand. If we'd have won those, we'd have been in the top 2. There were times where we were looking at top spot, whereas now slipped a little bit, as I say, over the last 10 games, only getting 8 points from 30. The confidence isn't quite there, and with the group of young players, we saw it on Tuesday against Oxford. As soon as that first goal went in, heads went down. So hopefully we get the first goal on Saturday, which will make it an interesting tie. I think if we concede first, it could be a very, very long afternoon. Key players, as I say, very young squad, but we've got a lot of potential and a lot of ability within that squad. If I go from the back, Tom Anderson, fantastic player, our captain. He is an absolute brick wall. Not had the best of times over the last couple of games, but generally when he's in the back four and performing as we've seen that he can do, we are very difficult to break down. And I think with Joe Wright next to him, they're a solid pairing. They know each other very well, and hopefully that centre-back pairing can connect on Saturday, and we shouldn't concede. We will see. Moving into the midfield, we've got the evergreen Jamie Coppinger, his final season. I hope it's not everybody's asking for one more year for when fans are back in the ground, but I believe that it will be his last season. But he can still pull out a performance and rip teams to shreds at this level. So he's definitely one of our key players. But next to him, potentially, if he's playing Taylor Richards on his day, he can be absolutely unstoppable. Very skillful, quick on the ball, and he's got a shot on him as well from distance. So that's one to watch out for. And then we've been hit by a lot of injuries, so I'm not sure who's going to be playing up top. It'll either be Okenabirhie or Bogle. Out of the two, I prefer Bogle up top on his own, and I prefer Okenabirhie out on the wing. I feel Bogle is very strong, very physical. He holds the ball up well, and that helps other players get pulled into the game. Whereas Okenabirhie is more pace and turning and running in behind. So when he's playing up there on his own, he can get a little bit isolated. So if Bogle's on the pitch, you'll see balls being played into his feet. He'll hold it off and try and bring other players in. And then the final key player for me, Josh Sims, on loan from Southampton, is an absolute level above one of the many injuries that we've had over the last couple of weeks, but potentially he will be in the squad come Saturday. So they're my ones to watch. Tom Anderson at the back, Coppinger, Sims, Taylor Richards in the middle, and then Omar Bogle up top. And finally, my score prediction. I've already done a preview, and I always predict with my head, not my heart. As a fan, always want us to win, but with our run of form, the injuries that we've got and everything included, I think it's going to be a very tough game. I think it's going to be a difficult afternoon, and I've put down a 2-1 defeat for the Rovers. So I'm going 2-1 Gillingham. Once again, thank you for having me on the channel. Really appreciate this appearance. If you haven't already, subscribe to Gills in the Blood TV. And if you've got a bit of time, head over to 18 Dapper and check my channel out as well.
Some excellent stuff there from Dan. Thank you very much, mate, for getting that over to me this afternoon. I know you'd done a long shift at work, so I appreciate you sorting that out before you go and chill out for the rest of the evening. Some really interesting stuff. Gives us Gills fans a little bit more inside information and stuff that we really need to know from an opposition perspective. And it's interesting how Dan talks. I just wonder whether they are starting to feel the effects of the departures of Darren Moore and also Ben Whiteman, who left in the January transfer window. I did say on the Third Tier podcast a couple of weeks ago that I think they might fall out of the top 6. And I'm not going to change my mind. Obviously, it might be at our expense at the weekend, and that'd be great. But we're still going to have to go there and go up against them and work hard and earn the right to win a football match like we did at Lincoln and like we've done recently in numerous games. But yeah, looking at the last 6 of the 2 teams, Gills draw, win, win, loss, win, win. So we've taken 13 points from 18 on offer over the last half a dozen. Doesn't make pretty reading for Doncaster, considering how good they were up until Darren Moore's departure. Lost, win, win, lost, drawn, lost. So no winning 3, 7 points from the last 18 available. At home, the Gills have been spot on now after a mid-season wobble. It's 4 wins and 2 losses in 6 games, and they've come against Lincoln, who were very good at the time, and Peterborough, for me, probably the side with the highest ceiling in the whole of League One. So it's 12 points from 18 available at Priestfield for Gills. Doncaster away from their own patch. Turn away now. It's a win followed by 5 straight defeats. So it's only 3 points from 18 available. They really are struggling on the road, and it's something that we're going to have to target and try and take advantage of. They've only won 2 of their last 10, taking 8 points from 30 available. In that same period, Gills have taken 19 points, so right at the other end of the spectrum, and we've won 6 in that period. So contrast in form, but it doesn't mean anything if we don't turn up and do everything that we have to do properly. They've still got good players at the end of the day. Donny, Onakabiri, the lad, he's got 9 in League One, so he's their top scorer. Reece James, a defender by trade, has got 7. He's their second highest scorer. But even with the departures of Ben Whiteman, they've still got some quality. They've got, remember, John Bostock, child wonder star at Crystal Palace, went to Tottenham. It didn't really work out. He's become a bit nomadic throughout his career, but he's at Donny now. Be interesting to see how he plays if he gets the opportunity. Omar Bogle, been around the block as well, but knows where the back of the net is if you give him enough chances. James Coppinger, the Peter Pan of English football. Majid Gomez, Josh Sims, they've got plenty of quality, so it's not a case of we're just going to have to turn up at 3 p.m. in ME7 at the weekend and we're going to win the game. That's not the case at all. It's going to be a tough game and we're going to have to be at it. In terms of our team news, no Callum Slattery, no Dominic Samuel, no James Morton and no Christian Magoma, it looks like. So we are down to the bare bones at the weekend. Matty Willock was not ill or injured, thankfully, on Tuesday. Unfortunately, he got stuck in traffic on the M25 trying to get to the Gills team coach. Didn't get there in time. So he was in for extra training on Wednesday, bless him, but he should be available for Saturday. So my team, if everyone is available, I know there are question marks over Connor Ogilvie and Alex McDonald, but if they are fit, it would be an unchanged 11 for me. So it would be Jack Bonham, Ryan Jackson, Jack Tucker, Robbie Cundy, Connor Ogilvie, Jordan Graham, Carl Dempsey, Stuart O'Keefe, Alex McDonald, John Akindi and for Dane Oliver. My bench would be Sasha Bastien, Robbie McKenzie, Tom O'Connor, the returning Matty Willock, Henry Woods, Ollie Lee and Tyreek Johnson. If Connor Ogilvie doesn't make it, then we probably have to look at putting Tommy O'Connor at left back. And if Alex McDonald doesn't make it, we've got the option we can put Tyreek Johnson in and still play 4-4-2, or we might have to mix up the system. But I'd like us to play a flat 4-4-2. I thought it worked superbly at Lincoln in the week, and there's no reason to change it. The old adage, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Right, that's enough from me this evening. Just going to give you my score prediction before I let you go. Based on everything that I've looked at in terms of form and away situations for Doncaster Rovers at the moment and our current form, I'm going to back the Gills to win like Dan. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Gillingham though. I know he said 2-1 to us, which is unusual for an opposition fan to come on and predict his team to lose. It's not something any of us like to do. But yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 to the Gills if we turn up and play properly. And I'm going to back the two big front men to score again for Dane Oliver and John Akinde. Right, that is enough from me. Before I go, you might have noticed that I am wearing a very loud and very colourful shirt. These are the ones you can win on Fan Hub if you sign up to the app. Get yourselves on the leaderboard. Top 3 every week get sent one of these by Harley and the team. They're excellent quality, made by a really well-renowned company, and well worth getting your hands on one of these. And like I say, you definitely won't get missed if you're out and about in one of these. Pink and orange fruit salad combination, really good quality as well. Really enjoy wearing it. So I'm repping for Fan Hub tonight. Go and check them out. Go and check out the Third Tier podcast. We'll be back again on Monday for our 4th episode. And that's been really enjoyable over the last few weeks, getting involved with that with Tom and Ben. And I'm not sure who the guest is this week, but I'm sure it'll be someone really good. Obviously, great fun last Monday with Hugh from the PO4 Pompey podcast coming on there in the wake of Kenny Jackett's sacking. But yeah, that's enough from me this evening. Go and enjoy the rest of your Thursday. There is Europa League football on if you want to go and watch that, or watch a film, or do whatever you're doing with the wife, the kids. Enjoy what you're up to. It's Friday tomorrow, very close to the weekend again. I'll see you on Saturday for another Match Day Live. But until then, up the Gills.